Good evening, guys. I hope you're well. Welcome to IGYS Corner. We have so much to talk about. So much has happened in the last few days. With the internationals come and gone, thankfully, for Italy, guys. Honestly, it's been an absolute mare. We get to play another playoff in March. The opponents will be, well, we'll find out tomorrow when the draws are out. So, with that said, when Paolo Maldini speaks, we have no other choice, guys, but to be quiet and listen to what the, Our Majesty, Paolo says. So, Maldini had a recent interview. He hadn't spoken for months on end, especially even more so after leaving AC Milan under this new ownership that, whatever. The less said about them, the better for me, guys, honestly. So, Paolo Maldini admits he still finds it difficult to talk about his beloved AC Milan and could never work for another Serie A club. And he went on to say, not only for another Serie A club, but any club in world football. Only AC Milan. There's only Milan for him. He also backed Gennaro Gattuso, which I found very interesting. He said, I still find it difficult to talk about Milan, but I'm happy that their current position in the Serie A table is better than in recent past. He was speaking with Tutto Mercato Web at the Premio Viareggio Sports event. The derby, which is another thing we're going to talk about. The derby is always a strange fixture, as we lost 6 or 7 in a row and then won the Scudetto in 2022. While once we started winning the fixture again, things didn't go well overall. The derby has very little say on the success of a season. That is true. One derby win doesn't change or for the better or worse the season you ultimately end up having. There was reports that Fiorentina had approached him, but he refused it. So I want to get to the bit where he talks about Italy. When it comes to the Nazionale, Italian football is struggling bad as the 4-1 defeat to Norway confirmed the World Cup playoff. I hope that Italy get to the World Cup for the kids in their generation who never saw their team compete in the tournament, but also for Rino and all of us. We are all fans of the Nazionale. Okay. A figure like Maldini would be so important for the AC Milan currently, but also for the Italian national team. I do think the Italian national team needs a massive overhaul. I'm not talking manager, I'm talking about the whole federation. Too many old people with too many old ideas who sat comfortably in their chair that needs to go, and bring new blood in there with new ideas, new innovations to help the movement of Italian football into the next generation. We have a young generation who've never seen Italy play the World Cup, which is, for me, when I was that young, it was unheard of. It was automatic. You was already looking at how far we would be getting. Anything but a semi-final would have been a disappointment. Always competing to either win it or certainly go to the very latter stages. Now we're talking about struggling to qualify. That absolutely needs to be looked at. Gravina should go. He should have gone a long time ago. Having failed 2 World Cups with him as president of the Italian Federazione Italiana, Italian Federation. So he should have gone a long time ago. So Maldini, for me, would be an absolute start. And he's not the sole answer, but having a figure like Maldini in a setup, be it for the Italian setup, would be a great start to then get things moving from there. But it's a discussion that's too far and too long to start right now. So right now, the most important thing is to try and get this team. Let's find out who the opponents is, and then come March, qualify for the World Cup. After which, we can then have that discussion then, perhaps. Moving on to the derby, guys. Obviously, it's not just Tottenham, Arsenal derby. There's also an AC Milan Inter derby. So I've got 2 derbies on the same day, the same one afternoon, on a Sunday afternoon and a Sunday evening. So honestly, I don't know how often that could ever happen. And Obviously, Spurs with Arsenal clear favourites. I'll make them clear favourites in that tie. They have, they're a well-oiled machine. Even whether Gabriel makes it or not, they got plenty of alternatives. They can move Calafiori into centre defence, and they can play someone else at left back, or perhaps they got other alternatives at centre back that can come in to cover Gabriel. What I find with Arsenal is that the context is what's the strongest point. So it makes it a lot easier for any players that perhaps is missing out. Someone else can come in. If the context of the team is fully functioning and going really well, anybody who comes in will do just as well. Maybe not to the level of perhaps Gabriel is, but he will still ultimately do a very good, he would do just as well. For Tottenham, God, having the last time we've, I say we as a Tottenham fan, of course, we've gone and got a really decent result there, let alone a win. It's been a long time. It's not a very comfortable and a very good ground for us to go to, but we have been very good away from home this season overall. At home, not so good, but away has been good. So maybe the fact that the home team will be more forthcoming, more attacking, could open up a possibility for us. But without going to these sort of grounds with a level of character, fight, being focused, switched on from the first minute to the last, be in the game at every single moment, every single quarter of a game, it's going to be tough if you're not to that level committed right from the off. It's going to be very interesting, but it's not me. I'm honest when I say this. Arsenal at home will fancy it for sure. And for me, obviously, they are challenging for a title. So, they're going to want to make up the points perhaps that they lost against, or they dropped rather, against Sunderland. So this is probably the game after the international break to go and put the foot on the pedal and really go for it. With us, for me, like I said, I go there with a straight back, knowing the difficulties you're going to have in that game, and stay in the game for as long as possible, in the hope that when your chances come, we take them. Something that we also haven't been good at doing. But at the other end, we've got to try and keep it locked. In that defence, I do have faith and I do have belief that we can put over good performance defensive-wise. Don't want to jinx them, but we will know the next few days, depending on the team that we put out there. We'll have plenty of time to be talking of the derby. Talking of derbies, there's obviously the Milan derby, Inter against AC Milan. This is going to be a really interesting one. Obviously, Inter favourites to win the league as well, along with the likes of Napoli. They're the two that really are competing for it. Milan, having an abysmal season last year, finishing 8th and out of Europe, are looking to return back to the Champions League, even though I think Milan should aim for a lot more higher. Not this season, but in seasons to go, they should definitely be pushing on, not just for top 4. But I will take that for this season, but moving forward, 100%. Although the board and Allegri, the manager, have led to believe, the target has to be to return in Champions League football. But let's see come March, where Milan are and how far off the top they are, to see if they can really push on to try and make it as difficult as possible, and maybe mount a late challenge to the league. We won't know until we get to that point in March, but right now the aim is definitely to try and get to top 4 come end of the season. Now, a team like Milan cannot be out of Europe, period. It's going to be a difficult game. Inter, they got their mojo going before the international break, and with results, and obviously they've got a very established team that have been the same pretty much for the last few years. The manager has changed, but they still have a know-how, a team that have played together for a few years. Milan is a bit different. Obviously, a new manager who's come in, who's brought in changing a style of play, formation change, and they are slowly getting there. Modric is giving us the Milan, giving us Milan the experience. The team lacked a massive experience and a leader. Obviously, Rabiot coming back from injuries, he's been out for over a month. Massively important to have him in because he's another player with pedigree. And slowly, you know, with obviously Capitan America, Pulisic is back in the side. He'll probably be starting up front with Rafael. And at the back, they've been the same. Magnan, and then, you know, the back three have been the same. Tomori, Pavlovic, with Gabby in between. They've been very stable to get to, you know, in not conceding goals. They've kept quite a few clean sheets. It's very tight, similar to what Spurs. Very, very important that we keep it tight at the back, and making it count up front. But the lack of Leao and Pulisic and Salamakers and from midfield can chip in with a goal or two. Very, very important. We have to be careful on set pieces. I feel like that's where a lot of these games open up via set pieces. But it's going to be interesting how the teams come back from international duty. What kind of week they have at training? We'll say kind of week. We've got maybe another two and a bit days of training, having been back for the international duty, and how they go into Sunday's game. We'll be able to discuss that nearer to the games. Make sure you smash a like to the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. It's relatively new. For those of you who have made it to 11 minutes, it's a relatively new channel. It needs to grow, and it helps massively if you guys hit the sub to make the algorithm and all of that stuff, the likes, you know the drill. To help this channel grow, and I'll be speaking about these games on the weekend and other games too, mainly from Premier League and Serie A. And of course, don't forget Spurs Corner as well. That channel is more focused on, of course, Tottenham Hotspur, rightly so. And there's going to be a lot of fireworks this weekend on that channel. So make sure you keep an eye on that. Activate the activation bell on this and the other channel. And yeah, make sure you keep eye for more content there. Have a great evening, guys. Take care.